Hi friends. Well, let's talk for a moment about something that got a lot of attention earlier on in the year, but has really faded as we moved into the election cycle, and that's the coronavirus. Let me give you a quick update from the Health and Human Services to economic advisors to chief medical officers and the like. So what we found as the virus has continued to progress and the scientists have had more time under the microscope, so to speak, is we're starting to understand more patterns and more clarity on what it is and what it isn't. And so as an example, only one state right now out of the 50 have more than 9% of their hospital beds dedicated to coronavirus patients. Let me say that another way. 90% of the hospital beds that each state has, except one, that's Georgia, is not using those beds for coronavirus. That's a huge improvement from where we were. In fact, it's a 45% reduction from hospital bed usage for coronavirus from our peak moments in the US. They're also finding out who the virus attacks and affects and who it doesn't. As an example, an international team of researchers found that individuals who were obese, which by the way, 40% of Americans are considered to be obese, they were 74% more likely to be in ICU from the virus than not. Or how about this one? Right now, there are 25 phase 1 vaccines, 14 phase 2 vaccines, 9 phase 3 vaccines, and 3 vaccines that are allowed to be used under limited and specific dosage. The entire medical and health community globally is marching towards what we believe will certainly be a widely dispersible vaccine prior to the end of 2020. Now, the real question for an investor is, what does the stock market do in relationship to this continued progressive news with the coronavirus? And the short answer, obviously, is nobody's really sure. However, what the stock market is telling investors is that they believe, they being Wall Street, that they believe that the worst of the virus is behind us. They believe in the medical community and the technology that they've continued to progress in, and they believe that in short order, the economy will be fully turned back online, not just here in the US, but globally. Now that time frame looks different for each state, each country, and certainly each continent. But we can say, as we sit here, roughly 6 months from when the first virus was here in the US, that we are in a much better situation medically and from a health perspective. Now, much will be said in the days ahead as we near November 3rd. The old adage is that if something happens in an election year, it's political. And whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. The point is, this coronavirus on both sides will continue to be polarized and will continue to be politicized. But let's ground our information in fact. As investors, that's not what we're most concerned about right now. The civil and social unrest and the election present far more caution from an investment perspective than the virus does. And while we're not out of the woods yet, we have a lot to be optimistic about. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.